Yo, microphone!
Step number 1, get a piece of wood. All right, so we chose to do hickory just because it's a hardwood and it looks really cool when you put some stain on it and make a wand out of it. It's a little more challenging to turn it on the lathe. It likes to chip and fur out, but it's really cool wood. So first you got to start with a piece that's about 18 inches long and 1 inch thick all the way around. And what we like to do to get it ready for the lathe is we like to run it on the table saw at a 45-degree angle to just round it out a little bit, give it more of that octagon shape so it's a little bit easier to cut on the lathe. Then you find the center, drill a small hole in the center of each end, and that's what's going to set your block right in the middle so when you turn it, it's all smooth. Every lathe is a little bit different, but you want to make sure that you get that really seated in well so that when you are putting your tool on there and cutting it, it's not going to slip off and it's not just going to turn inside the hole, but it's actually going to turn the piece of wood so you can cut it. So then you're going to draw out your wand pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to plan out where we're going to put each of these pieces, and you just draw with a pencil on there all the way around so that you know where to cut in and where to leave it out a little bit. Adjust your guide so that it's in the proper place for setting your tool on, and you want to make sure your tools are sharp. If not, it's just going to gouge your piece of wood and that's going to ruin your wand, especially when you're getting down into the really thin parts. When you start carving out the notches, I like to go with my thick side first and then end with my thin, so that way it doesn't break on me. When you first go, I like to smooth it all out so I have a nice full smooth surface, none of those octagon ridges. You're going to want to get all your marks on there with the tool, not just with the pencil, and so you carve it in a little bit so you have better outline. Start cutting away a little bit at a time, and I switch back from my bigger tools which take off more material to my more fine tools, which gives me those good ridges and tight firm lines. And you can adjust the thickness however you want. You don't have to do it exactly like this, but as long as you get the bulbs bigger and your inside portions the thinner part, it's going to look really cool when you're all done. If you have a set of calipers too, that's very helpful to get the exact thickness that you want and to make sure that you're going down in thickness as you go to the end of the wand there. Then it's time to sand, and we started with 120 grit sandpaper to get rid of any burrs and any chips or anything that was really rough. Smooth it out with 120 grit. Then we moved on to 150 grit, which gives it a little bit finer finish, and then 180. And then we finally did it with the 220. So once you're all done with the length and the thickness and everything that you like on it, go ahead and take it off the lathe and cut off your ends with a miter box, or you can even use a small handsaw. Go ahead and trim those ends so that you don't have holes in the end of your wand there. So we like to get the Dremel in there, give it more of an aged, authentic look, make it look really old, like it was carved out of an old stick. Then comes the fun part of wood burning, like 10,000 dots. It took forever. I'm not even kidding. It was at least an hour doing it. It's a lot, and it takes a long time. That's okay because it looks cool. So then you're ready to stain it with a dark stain and give it a coat of lacquer. So then you want to add a little bit more detail after you've lacquered it and you paint this white strip on the handle. You can add a little bit more of the detail, some symbols in there, or your kid's initials, whatever you want to do. Give it a little bit more detail in there, gives it a really cool look. And there you have the Elder Wand. Hey, thanks for watching that video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like you!
Subscribe
you!
And watch more of our
videos! You know.